Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Yanifa Yedu. How are you doing? I hope this meets you well. Based on popular demand, I'm making this Aje Olokun video today. As you can see, I'm dazzling in cowrie shells adire. I've had a lot of people ask me questions both in the comment sections and also during private consultation, wanting to know more about Aje Olokun. For some reason, the information you'd expect should be easily accessible. About most of the orishas are not easily accessible, so I guess that's why people don't know a lot about them. So I'll talk about some of those things in this video. If I can't cover everything, then it will be made into a two-part video. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Okay? Always leave a nice comment, give your feedback, ask your questions, and I would always make sure to get back to you on them as much as I can. Right, so from the videos I have made in the past, one of the videos I've made in the past, a couple of years back, where I spoke about Olokun, I mentioned Aje Olokun, I think in passing, but not quite in detail, because Olokun is the parent of Aje Olokun. We have different types of Olokuns, but the one that I'm talking about today is Olokun Ijinji and Seniade and their relationship with Aje Olokun. So, the Odo father speaks about this particular story is Ogunda Okono, Ogunda Konokono, where Aje was married to Orunmila. And Orunmila wanted to meet the parent of Aje and said, we should go visit your parents, let's get to spend time with them. Aje just had a child for Orunmila at the time, a baby. And the baby's name is Jala. So they decided, okay, no problem, we'll go. She agreed to going to meet her parents because he hadn't met Aje's parents before. He didn't know who Aje's parents were and all sorts. But before they left, Aje told Orunmila that when you get to where my father is, you cannot look at his face. No one has ever seen his face. No one knows what he looks like. That's number one. And then number two, the people working as servants for my father, well, Aje referred to Olokun Ijinji, the primordial Olokun, as a father. There is no history that records that Olokun Seniade impregnated, Olokun Ijinji impregnated Olokun Seniade. However, there is no clear history as to who exactly is the father of Aje. A lot of people will say Obatala is Aje's father, but that's not the case. If you say adopted father, it's different because there is no history that says that Obatala was the husband of Olokun, he impregnated her, and then they had Aje. None. So Aje would refer to Olokun Ijinji as a father. Anyway, I digress. Let's come back to the story. So she told him that when you get there, you see these people, they will be looking regal, they'll be dressed very, very lavishly. Do not bow down to them. Do not bow down to them because that's not my father. They're not my father. They would look like kings and they'll have their own mini servants and blah, blah, blah. Oh, this one is just a governor, a governess, estates manager. I'm just using normal everyday terms now just to give you like a clear understanding. No, this one is just my father's solicitor. That one is my father's, your staff. But they look so regal that you think that is Olokun. Anyway, after all this explanation had been given to Orunmila, Orunmila said, okay, no problem. And then they decided to go. They started embarking on the journey to meet Olokun Ijinji. When they got there, they met a lot of people. And then every time Orunmila said, he would be so quick to prostrate. I mean, we all know that in Yoruba land, it is part of our culture to always show reverence and respect to our elders through kneeling down as a woman to greet or prostrating to greet them. There's another word for that, I can't remember it. Anyway, and then Aje would be like, it would be quick to prostrate, and she'd be like, no, that's not my father. Get up, get up, get up. You know? And then they carried on with the journey. And then they got to another gate. I'm using gate in this term, not like, there are levels. For every entrance, there is somebody. And for every level and every entrance they get to, they meet someone who is even much more elaborately dressed than the previous person they had just met. And Orunmila would be so quick to prostrate. And she would be like, no, that's not my father. That's not him. And every time he kept doing that. They went through many passages. And the guy was confused. Listen, I'll be confused. Like, which one is now your... It will gone. Which one is now your father? Because if you're saying this one is not, that one is not, so who is now? Anyway, they got to where Olokun was. But just before they went in, Olokun Seniade, the female Olokun, don't forget, Ijinji is the male version of the Olokun. Is the very strong energy of Olokun. We, the Yorubas, tend to work more with the energy of Olokun Seniade, the feminine version, the slightly being the emphasis here, more subtle. Olokun Ijinji's energy is more dominant, more intense. I'll come back to that. Anyway, when they saw Olokun Seniade, she said to Orunmila, when you get there, please don't look at him in the face. Nobody has ever looked at him in the face. No one knows what it looks like. And he said, no problem. So when they got there, everybody was bowed down with their face on the ground in front of Olokun Ijinji. But Orunmila, being a mischievous person that he is, he looked up to catch a glimpse of Olokun, and he immediately went blind. So he couldn't see. They did everything to make sure he could see. Nothing worked. But this one, that, nothing. So when they left the place, before they left, Olokun Seniade asked him what the father looks like, because she had never even looked at him. She doesn't even know what it looks like. That is how intense, that's how mighty, how powerful he is. I mean, if you ask me, I'll say after Eledumare, Olokun Ijinji should be like the one most revered of all the Orishas. But what do I know? For many reasons, because Olokun had been existing upon the face of the earth before the other Orishas and Irumoles came from the heavenly realm. It's recorded so in Odufas that they had to come and ask his permission in order to create the earth plane that we are now. Obatala and the other envoy. Obatala being the main character that asked permission, So that's to tell you that while Eledumare was already existing in his heavens, Olokun was already existing as water body upon the face of the earth. Damn, it's powerful. So the others came after him, basically. Olokun lagba omi. He is the most powerful of all water body anyway. So back to the story yet again. I digress. Olokun Seniade asked Orunmila, "What does my father look like?" And he described what he looked like to her, saying that when he saw him, he had like a turban on his head, wrapped, and that the turban looked like what we call Oshumare, which is rainbow, like a rainbow color. So that makes me feel the energy of Oshumare. Oshumare is an Orisha as well within the pantheon of Yoruba mythology. Shaped as a snake with the head of, rainbow and all that stuff. So Oshumare is rainbow. So he had upon his head like a turban that looked like a rainbow. And Orunmila did not quite see his face, even with the soft glance, quick glance. He couldn't really see his face properly because the light was bright and everything. The magnanimity of his person is a lot, That is so close to describing Eledumare. I mean, if you ask me. And that's why I feel like, damn, Olokun is intense. So he was the only person in record that seen Olokun. And, when you think about it, if you're truly a child of Olokun, when Olokun comes to you in your dream state, even if you are in trance and you see Olokun, you're never going to catch that face. It's not possible. You're not going to catch what Olokun's face is. To be fair, you don't really catch most of the Orisha's faces, because when I've seen when Orunmila had come to me in my sleep before, I just knew it was an old man, an elderly dark-skinned man wearing white, Obatala as well. I didn't really catch the face. Oshun, on the other hand, Oshun had only... I've seen Oshun's face twice, but even then, you wonder. The first time I think was the dream of her I had a while back in 2019, and the one I had recently this year, sometime around February. She came bearing good news, and she looked so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I've never seen such beauty in my life. The closest thing to describing Oshun's apparition is the way Beyonce dressed during her performance for Grammys, I think 28, when she was pregnant with the twins, that she had the gold stuff, and even that was in honor of Oshun, the attire she had on. But anyway, I digress. So Oshun is not the conversation we're having today. Aje Olokun is. So anyway, he described what Olokun Ijinji looked like. I apologize for digressing a lot. It's just sometimes when you talk about one Orisha, I've said this before, one way or the other, others come into the story, but I'll try to stay on point. So after this description, they carried on with the journey, and when they got home, he still couldn't see. They did everything, but Orunmila could not see. He remained blind. Until one day when he was given the baby they had, the baby boy. Ifa says it's a boy. Another story could come now and say it's a girl, because Ifa and the Odus are very complicated. But in this particular audio, it's a baby boy, and he was holding the boy. He held him up, and it's like, when the baby doesn't have a diaper on. He held the baby up, and the baby pooped on his face. And that baby's poo was licked by a dog. Bearing in mind that they had not named the baby, because the visitation of Olokun did not go quite as planned. So it's almost like they left hurriedly because of the calamity that befell Orunmila. So they hadn't named the baby. The baby's poo was on his face. The dog came and licked the poop off his face. And then the baby was named Jala. Ajala. Ajala. The dog licked the poop. Jala. That's what the baby's name became. And anyway, that incident was how Orunmila was able to see again. And his sight was regained. So that is the story of Aje Olokun from the Odu Ogunda Konokono, in terms of her being married to Orunmila, our relationship with her mother, Olokun Seniade, and Aje Olokun being the daughter, and of course Olokun Ijinji. There are so many stories that could be said. There are stories about how Aje's face is disfigured on one path, and how her pride, because Aje is quite very arrogant, very proud. Aje is very arrogant, and who wouldn't be? She is filthy rich. She is wealth. She is wealth. When you talk of wealth, she is wealth. Aje Olokun is arrogant and was arrogant to a sibling and wasn't treating this person right, and that led to Olokun disfiguring her face and all that. There are so many stories, but this is the one we are focusing on today. Aje is arrogant, like I said, and that's why when you see the children of Aje, sometimes they come off as very, can almost feel like they are condescending. It's like they're looking at you like this, Aje children, yeah, I have met a few. I'm not going to say more than that. I am one myself. But I think the universe had to teach me humility. Aje's children, they tend to look at people. It's like they're looking down at you like you're beneath them. It's part of the characteristics of, having Aje as a parent Orisha. Now merge that with having Oshun. Oh my. Oshun is playful, but she's a diva. So now add Yemoja to that mix, and then you wonder why certain people would look at you like, yeah, okay. Honestly, be graceful towards them, because I don't even think they're doing it on purpose. Yemoja is a stern parent, and she has a way of looking very stern. Yemoja, get joy. It's like, I wonder, do you smile? I'm sure she's very motherly. She is very motherly. She smiles, but you would actually rarely catch her. She always has a stern look. That stern motherly look. Like, I see what you're doing, and I'm not pleased with you. Oshun is very sweet, very sexy, very flirty, but you don't want to get on a bad side. Aje is hidden. We call her Aje Olokun Guguluso Niso Iboji. Iso means a shop or your stall in Yoruba language. And our shop is in a hidden place. It's in a place where there's covering. Aje doesn't like the sun. She doesn't like light, just like Obatala. She doesn't like too much attention. She's hidden. Aje is in the market, and she would be watching everybody and be looking at who she thinks is deserving of certain wealth or whatever. She pays attention to the activities going on in the marketplace. And she covers her face with cowrie shells based on some of the descriptions and, things said. Aje is kind. She doesn't say much. Aje is usually very quiet. Oshun is more chatty than she is. But then even Oshun has a moment when she goes quiet. But compared to Aje, Aje is very quiet. She doesn't say much. She observes a lot. She watches your character. Even when you give her offerings, she might not immediately bestow the wealth or financial desires and blessings that you're looking for. She observes you. She watches you, Aje is an Orisha that you have to place her in a high place because Aje is not the type of Orisha that you leave a vessel on the floor. In my Orisha room, she is at the top because she likes to be placed on a very high pedestal. So she could be looking down. I'm joking. But she loves to be placed in a high position. She doesn't like being put on the floor or on a low surface. She likes it where it's high, where it's tall. That's the kind of person Aje is, Aje Olokun she's a lovely Orisha, but it is important that if you are Omoalaje, you need to always pray for long life because the children of Aje tend to Oja warawara ni mi man no. Oja warawara simply means that they're in a hurry to leave the earth plane. They make so much money. That's why you see some people, they get rich quickly and then they're gone. Just like that. Aje's children should be doing a lot of appeasement for Iriya Iku, long life and all sorts, so that they can live long, because the tendency for Aje's children to pass quickly is very high. Aje's children, they are not designed to be everywhere. You have to preserve yourself. You're not supposed to be you're not meant to be with Tom, Dick and Harry. And that also includes sexually. You're not meant to have sex with just any random nuisance. Whether you're a man or a woman, you are not meant to. You should keep yourself to yourself. When you go for occasions, you dress appropriately. Aje's children are meant to appear looking regal. You need to look neat all the time. Aje hates dirt, just like Oshun as well. Aje doesn't like dirt. Oh, Aje hates dirt. She can't cope where there is dirt. Aje doesn't even like you leaving blood on a vessel, on a icon. She doesn't like it. She's given me stern warning in the past not to. She doesn't like dirt. She doesn't like her children being everywhere with everybody. Listen, you have to, being proud sometimes I think comes with the description. You have to carry yourself appropriately. You don't go outside when they're dancing like, I don't know, whatever that is. All those funny dance that they do to Portables and the rest song being an example of songs from the trenches. You don't do that. When you are a child of Aje and you are at a party, if the whole party you guests are acting like pigs when they are eating, you have to eat with decorum. You have to carry yourself and be composed. Very demure, very queenly or kingly, very calm. You don't go outside and be misbehaving. You are not supposed to be caught in a road rage as a child of Aje. You're not supposed to be dancing. All those funny. No. You have to keep it very composed because Aje doesn't like it. She doesn't like her children begging for money. If you have financial challenges, ask Aje for money. Appease her and she'll come through for you. It's part of your destiny to be financially provided for. She doesn't like when her children beg. How many things have I mentioned? I've mentioned about 4 or 5 things. Anyway, anything I miss, I'll mention it in the other video. I think I'm going to stop here and create a part 2 because there are still so many things I want to talk about. Till next time, guys. Stay healthy and blessed and look after yourself. Bye for now. Oh, for God's sake.